Welcome everyone to It Tastes Different Gaming Appetizers, and tonight we're going to talk about fun stuff. The closing of another game studio that never got to see their game come to fruition. Midnight Society, which you might know is the studio started by Dr. Disrespect, is shutting down. They were supposed to release their game Dead Drop last year in 2024, but they missed the mark. And then they never produced it, and they have shut down. So, if you don't remember, this is the studio that was started back in 2021 with the studio founders being Guy Beam. If you don't know who that is, that's Dr. Disrespect's government name. Robert Bowling, Quinn Del Hoyo, and Summit Gupta. I hope I pronounced his last name right. And these guys are all like big names in the industry, right? People from, Beams from Call of Duty, creative strategist Robert Bowling, and former 343 studio lead sandbox designer Del Hoyo. So lots of big names and big hitters in this, and they were making that Dead Drop, which is like a PvE extraction shooter. Just never really. I don't know. I don't know what happened. We do know that Dr. Disrespect was removed from the project was it last year? Has it been was it that short or long ago for basically messaging and being inappropriate with minor. He kind of dropped off for a little while, but he's back to streaming and doing all of his normal stuff. So take with that what you will. Does that have part of like the studio separated from him? They basically cut ties, and he went his way and the studio went their own way, and we really didn't hear a whole lot about it. I mean, the studio hadn't really published a whole lot since, November-ish of last year when I was looking through their Twitter feed and stuff like that. But it's supposed to be like an 80s. So the game is billed as a fictional universe where the 80s never ended, according to the studio. The images they shared showed characters wearing Daft Punk-like helmets, wielding guns and swords, and the gameplay was set to be, like I said, a PvE style extraction shooter. So they posted basically 12 a.m. on January 30th. They had 2:25 p.m. on the 30th of January. They posted an item on Twitter that basically said, "Today we are announcing Midnight Society will be closing its doors after 3 incredible years with an amazing team of over 55 developers contributing to our new IP Dead Drop." It says, "We are actively seeking other game studios that would be interested in offering employment opportunities to our talented team and members. If you know anyone who's hiring, please forward this message to them or DM us for direct intros. We express our sincere gratitude to each and every one of our community members and deeply sorry we were unable to reach our ultimate goal." I don't know how far along the game was, because remember, they said the game was supposed to release last year in 2024 and they never released. And then there was not a whole lot about when it was going to come out. And now here we are at the end of January. And they have essentially said, we are shutting down the studio and canceling the game. It's, from the looks of it, they're calling it a PvE extraction shooter, but it was probably just going to be another live service game, right? Live service games aren't doing too well this day and age, unless you're PUBG, Fortnite, Marvel Rivals, a few others, in that list. Not doing too well. And like I said, I don't know if the whole Dr. Disrespect minor text messaging scandal, pedophile, whatever you want to call it, had anything to do with it. It probably did, right? It puts people are like, oh, even though you distance yourself from this individual as a game studio, you're still associated with it, right? The dirt never really washes off, right? And so I don't know if that really hurt some funding, or if the studio just was like, we can't recover from this, let's move on, right? Or maybe there was a rift in the studio and some of the other co-founders were like, I just got to go find a real job somewhere else. I don't know. You never know, right? But it is a startup studio. So I feel bad for all the developers. 55 people in a studio that has never released a game is kind of rough. I hope they all find something. And obviously the studio doesn't sound like they had enough money or any money to really pay these people severance. I hope they did, but they probably didn't. They just shutting their doors. So Midnight Society is no more. It sucks for those people, but at the same time, I really wasn't interested in their games. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not, I don't mind an extraction shooter. I like a PvE extraction shooter, but I don't need a live service game right now. I don't need one. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? Shane, were you ready for a PvE extraction shooter? Were you hoping to get to play with Dr. Disrespect?
No, and hell to the no. No. I don't. I mean, there's not too many live service games I play. I mean, I'll play when you guys play any game, but I don't jump into live service games with any anticipation of woohoo. It does break my heart, and I really hope all these guys land on their feet and get good jobs, make great games. Gamer, that's all I want. I want good games, and I hope these guys, they recover quickly from this. As far as the studio shutting down, let's just to focus on that part. I mean, they've been working on the same thing 3 years. I don't know how far off they were from completion. I don't know how far off they were just to a beta. I mean, it takes 3, 5, 6 years to make a solid game anymore. And the pedigree in there seems pretty solid. It really sucks. I mean, there could be 100 reasons why. I mean, it could be the game was not going the direction they wanted, and they realized we have been wasting all our time. It could be they realized that the live service, basically live service industry, is crashing, because that's what it is. It's an industry. Everybody's trying to industrialize live service games. It could have been that. They're not saying what it is, and I don't blame them. And I do think, funding may have been affected by Dr. Disrespect's conduct. I mean, he tried to diddle a kid, or he was...
You could say his disrespect.
Try to disrespect them teenage panties is what he did.
Oh.
But, I never liked the guy. I never liked his persona. It wasn't into me. I would rather watch the angry video game nerd play something than this guy. I mean, that's just me. Okay. That's just me. Do you like the guy? Go for it. I mean, if you like his porn stash and his bouffant hairpiece, go for it. I don't care. To me, he's always been a douchey person, and his character at least is douchey, and I don't really want to watch that. So, but far as the allegations, did they lead to? They could have led to issues within the the company, and that caused problems with development. I mean, it was a pretty big scandal. I mean, the guy is not. He's not an unknown person. I mean, even non-gamers have heard his name. So, I just I hate the idea of another game dying, even if it's a live service game. I hate to see those guys lose their jobs, things like that. But maybe they could take away from this and think, you know what, this was kind of a cool aspect. Yeah, hey, that was a cool aspect too. Let's put them together, kill the live service thing, make an awesome game, get along with life. That's where I want to see things go. And Dr. Disrespect's a pedophile, so that's all I got. What about you, Nick? Do you think pedophilia killed the game, or was it just the way the winds are blowing for the live service realm?
No, I mean, I don't think that killed the game. I think looking into this game, because I didn't really know much about it, it was a PvE, with
you might get a shot for that.
Yeah, with NFTs and blockchain. So that there tells me I am not interested in it whatsoever. I would say the NFTs and blockchain were probably what killed it, because then they found out that nobody gives a crap about NFTs and blockchain. At least gamers don't. Somebody does, but gamers typically don't care about that. Ubisoft should know about that, right? They should talk to Ubisoft and say, how'd that work out for you? Like, not so well. So, but, they could be like Ubisoft and say, well, it didn't work out, but damn it, we're going to keep trying.
We'll be back next year to try again.
We'll be back next year to try again. It could be a cool, like I like PvEVP shooter or extraction shooters sometimes, depends on how it's made and stuff. So I probably would have checked it out, but with the NFT and blockchain part, I more than likely would have not checked it out. Like I don't like any of that stuff. I'm not interested in any of that stuff. Like I think that's just a gimmick and a way to make money off of your consumer base. Now it was going to be a free to play game. According to them, you could have a free to play account that you don't partake in the blockchain or NFT portion of it. So they say, to kind of separate the two.
That also means you probably couldn't get the cool gear and the cool stuff in the game, right?
Yeah. Well, they said you could unlock stuff still and everything like that, but
so
you don't own them. Because what was going to happen is if you had the other account, once you unlock them, then you could sell them on the open market to other people playing the game, I guess. Which means they would have exclusive stuff to those with that account and non-exclusive, to sell to the normies that aren't paying for the blockchain, accounts. Well, the blockchain account was supposed to be free, but whatever. Anyway, I hate that. Blockchain and blockchains, that type of stuff could have place in certain aspects, maybe. Gaming is not one of them. I'm sorry. It's just not. Like, gamers have already told you we're not interested in that stuff. Like, sure, you can throw it into something else if you'd like, if you think it's going to be beneficial. But for a long time, developers tried to tell gamers that they needed this, that this was going to be revolutionary. But when you asked why, what did it do? They were like, because they didn't know. Like, and they still don't know. They're like, we want to put this in our game. They're like, why? They're like, I don't know. Because it doesn't do anything for the gamer. The gamer doesn't give a crap. And if that game, sure, you could unlock stuff and then sell it on the market. But like, if that game goes under, then that stuff ain't worth anything. Again, it's not worth anything, right? It's not worth anything to begin with. And it's not worth anything for you to buy or anything like that. So it's just like, it's all stupid stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of glad this game died. Good riddance. But it sucks for the developers, I guess. Hopefully they find work elsewhere. If they want to bring this extraction shooter along, sure, but don't bring the NFT and blockchain along with it. Leave that at the Midnight Society where it should stay.
Leave that with Dr. Disrespect dead on the side of the road.
I mean,
not dead, but
that stuff shouldn't be nowhere. No more live service, no more blockchain, no more NFTs, no crypto, no.
Yeah, none of that crap. Like, I don't want any of that stuff in my games.
Just none of that shit. I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, NFTs kind of fallen off, right? Since 2022, they've been basically plummeting.
Since the monkeys went out of, since the monkey NFTs went out of business.
Yeah, it's the pudgy penguins, I think, are the big thing these days.
Oh, it's pudgy penguins now?
But I mean.
What'd you call me?
You pudgy penguin, you.
That's my word.
But so, yeah, I mean, NFT, that should show you that it's a lot. NFTs remind me of the current crypto market, and not what I mean by the major players in crypto, not Bitcoin, and it's all these.
It's
people
like spinning up a coin like Nickcoin and then selling it to
getting it up to a value of 10 or 20,000
and dumping it, right? Or like the Hawk 2 girl that did it with her coin or whatever.
Yeah. And then like the kid not too long ago that created some meme coin, it got up to $10,000 and then he dumped it. And then all the people said, you know what, screw you. And they kept buying into it and made this thing worth a lot of money, and he got screwed, So, but it's that type of stuff. It's all like FOMO. It's like, I got to get this now. Like, I'm going to make bank off selling these, unless you're the top tier person selling it, the first person in the market creating that value.
Yep.
Because it's just
Right, you're going to have a small group of gamers that are going to be selling a majority of the items, right?
Right, the first ones to get it, right, are going to make the profit.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. I've never watched Dr. Disrespect. I never paid any attention to him. I mean, this persona, as Shane said, kind of comes off as dickish, and I think that's intentional. That's his intentional thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened between him and this girl. He admitted to messaging her, but he said nothing illegal went on. He didn't do anything wrong, but he probably should not have been messaging this minor. And when I say minor,
hook up and meet her parents.
And I don't know anything about, I looked when it all came out to fruition. I'm like, okay, something happened, and
he just wanted to walk her to school. All right.
Yeah. Like I said, did that hurt it? I don't know. So, and like I said, I don't know anything till I don't know. I heard the age was she was 15, 16, 17. I don't know. It kept changing. But obviously nothing. And I think I even saw an article where she said nothing inappropriate happened. Right. She came out into public and said nothing happened, but at the same time, he probably should, if she was 15 and he's, I don't know how old he is, 40, 30. I don't know what his age, but he's an adult, a grown ass man. He shouldn't have been messaging this stranger or, whatever. Like I said, I'm not going to, that'd be like me messaging one of these two guys as kids, that's just stupid. Like if I had something
to do that again,
that was what that unknown number was.
Right. Yeah. That was the Domino's pizza, the number that was saved as Domino's pizza. Right. But I just don't get
who's extra sausage.
Right. Like, I just don't get it. Like, so whatever he did, obviously he didn't go to jail for it. He didn't get prosecuted for it. Nothing happened, but he did, like, all of his sponsors basically pulled out. He got kicked out of YouTube, and he recently got put back into the monetization side of YouTube, like really recently. Yeah. So, it is what it is. He shouldn't have been doing it. He admitted to shouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, I don't know enough details to even speak to it. And I don't really care to speak to it. It doesn't affect me. If he shouldn't have been doing it, he shouldn't have been doing it. And he lost his position, but he was already probably a millionaire. So it didn't really hurt him, I bet. But that's my opinion on that. Everybody's got one. They're like assholes. Everybody has one, right? So, but did he kill that studio? Did the studio just realize that NFT, blockchain, live service games are not here to stay? So,
I mean, there's been a lot of like Web3, type of games that have tried to, to jump off of the launch pad. Mm-hmm. Right, to become successful, and they have not. Right, they have either failed to launch, or not the movie, but or they have just they launched, but they sputtered out, and nothing came about. So
yeah, I mean, because to me, when I hear Web3, I
avoid it like the plague.
Yeah, right? Because it's I don't know of any game that makes a Web3 game that's not a blockchain game. I don't think that's.
I don't even know what the hell that is. I just know it sounds like another scammy load of shit.
It's basically games are hosted on a non-centralized distributed freaking network. I mean,
so scammy shit.
I mean, it's just supposed to be secure is the whole point behind blockchain stuff, right? It's supposed to be secure because it's decentralized. Decentralizing things make them harder to basically do a lot of things with track, trace, and hack. So, but at the same time, I'm not interested in those digital NFTs and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there is money to be made in some of that stuff, and most of it's to be made in the cryptocurrency side of things, the legitimate ones. Like, obviously, where people make the most money in these cryptocurrencies is buying in early stages, right? When it's worth like nothing, where it's worth like
right when it's starting out,
where it's worth like percentages of a penny. Like we're talking like a 1.0001% of a penny or something. You're like, hey, I'm going to buy 10,000 of these things for $5 or something, and then you're like, I hope if this thing even gets to a nickel, I've made a lot of money, right? Yeah, I made a good chunk of money, because if I bought 10,000 of these at 1,000th of a penny and it gets up to a nickel, I've I've more than quadrupled. I've like raked in more money than I put in by a long shot, right? So, and that's the essential thing, right? If I, back in the day when Bitcoin was worth next to nothing, when it took mining to uncover, mining the Bitcoin to get a Bitcoin, before there was, before it was popular, if you had 100 Bitcoin or 5 Bitcoin, I mean, $100,000 plus right now for a Bitcoin. So, if you would have bought, if you would have got in back in the day when it started actually trading Bitcoin, and you're like, hey, I can get 100 Bitcoin for freaking $10 or something.
Yeah, all these cryptocurrencies, they make a lot of money at the start, but then once if they become established currencies, then they don't.
The swings are not always there. Like Bitcoin seems to be that, and Ethereum seem to be like outliers in this type of thing, right?
Right.
Like how many people have tried to make Dogecoin a thing, right? Elon Musk, he's
Musk still trying to make it.
I mean, but he did, right? Because when I remember when he first started talking about Doge, it was worth like not a whole lot, and then next thing you know, it skyrockets, and then people bail, right? And then drop back down, So it is what it is. So, but and it's maybe
scammy shit.
So maybe the reality is these guys realize nobody's going to buy another blockchain game. They just didn't have enough interest in it. And to me, and this is my personal opinion, when I hear a W3 game, a Web3 game, I'm automatically out. I'm like, that's blockchain NFT garbage. I'm out.
I think whenever you have like a Web3 game, you're only bringing in, or you're only like pulling in a certain group of people,
the get rich quick kind of people,
right? Because an average gamer, or I think most average gamers, and everybody who's listening can let us know down in the comments how you are, but I think for most average gamers, they're the same as Pat and I and Shane. When we see Web3 or blockchain or NFT or anything like that introduced into a game, we just avoid it. Like that already gives us a nope, and we don't even like pay attention to it. So, and then the only people you're going to get is those people that think, oh, I'm going to get in on the, the floor,
the ground floor,
the bleeding edge of this thing, buy up or get all the stuff and then sell it out. And then I'm going to make like bank. Right. And that's the only people are going to get. And then when they get in there and they get all this stuff, and then they have no one else to sell it to besides the other 5 people that are doing the same thing. Right. And so they don't end up making anything. And yeah, it's really hard. It's not hard to possibly make a extraction shooter that people want to play, but it's really hard is trying to make a Web3 extraction shooter or any type of Web3 game profitable, or even, like I said, launch it into space, launch it off the ground. Most of them don't make it past the development phase or the conception phase right before they die out.
Yeah. Web3 was supposed to be the next generation of the internet, right? It was supposed to be, Web3 was initially billed as the next generation of the internet, www, right? And unfortunately, now it's associated with blockchain. It was supposed to be about us taking back our privacy on the web, because it's a distributed, non-centralized environment, which the internet is non-distributed, is non-centralized to begin with. But W3 was supposed to help with that, protecting your personal data and giving you back ownership of your data. But it's the blockchain crap has kind of ruined it. It's given it a bad name now, right? So, yeah. So there you go. Now, every time anybody hears Web3, they think of scam. A majority of people do. People who live in that sphere get offended when you say that Web3 is a scam. And, maybe they are rightfully so, but for the people that are making an NFT or a blockchain game on W3, they're not rightfully so. They're trying to get in and make some money off of you. Remember, this term is true even today. When something's free, you're the product. I mean, that's just the true nature of the beast. If something is free, you are the product. So, anytime you see anything that's free in the world, I don't care if it's a free to play game, you are the product, because they are intentionally drawing you in to spend money somehow.
Even free samples at Costco.
Yep. You have to have that membership to get those free samples. So you're already.
And then when you eat that free sample, then they want you to buy the box of
toilet paper you're going to be using later.
Right. So like I said, take from it what you will. I don't know the reason behind that studio. All I can say is I feel bad for the staff, and hopefully they can all find a job. I haven't read anything about them getting compensation, which they probably won't. But it sucks for them. And if you are a game developer and you're hiring, they want you to reach out to them so that they can help their staff get placed, which I think is a good thing to do. Yep. How much they're going to invest in that, I don't know, but we'll see. So let us know what you think. Were you looking forward to Dr. Disrespect's game? Or, I guess it wasn't his. Were you looking forward to Midnight Society's PvPvE extraction shooter on Web3? Were you looking forward to that? I'd like to really know how many people were showing interest in that. Their Twitter didn't seem to get a whole lot of interaction and feedback, and their likes and reposts and stuff weren't very high. But they have more followers than we do, so but we don't make any money off what we do, right? Either, right? So, their stuff looks like their stuff on average got like 44 comments and 100 likes, so, and sometimes even lower. But they did have like 114,000 engagement on things and Twitter, things like that. So it's just not. I would have thought would have been much higher with the high stakes people in the front running of that company. But that's just. Yep. Let me know what you think. Let us know what you think down in the comments. What do you think killed this off? Do you think it was just the game didn't come out quick enough? Do you think they didn't have enough interest in the game? What do you think? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And you've reached the end of this episode, another long one, and you've stuck it out to the end. If you're not a subscriber, why not? Subscribe, help us out. We want to make some of that internet money, but we enjoy talking about video games, and we'll probably still be talking about video games, even if we don't make it. So, but let us know what you think down in the comments, and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that bell to get notified when we put out new videos. And we hope you enjoyed this episode and hope to catch you in the next one.
See ya.